Hello and welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you for joining the show tonight. So today we're going to be talking about a potentially uncomfortable topic, and that would be emotional addiction tonight on Thursday Night Live. Hello and welcome to the show. So we're going to be talking about emotional addiction. And I know it sounds really, really bad, but I think it's something we need to discuss and frankly put squarely on the table. We all have times when we're not in a good mood. It's a normal part of being human. Some of us, however, experience negative states deeper, more often than others. This brings up the concept of emotional addiction. Neuroscientist and pharmacologist Candace Pert, in her appearance in the movie The Secret, asked viewers, "What emotion are you addicted to?" I never forgot that line, even though years have passed since I've seen the film. I could easily name a few contenders of my own emotional addictions, but emotional addiction was not a topic that is often discussed in literature. Addictions are often thought of when referring to drugs, alcohol, gambling, work, or sex, but we can also become addicted to our emotions. Living constantly in a perpetual state of fear, anger, sadness, frustration, or worry can have a devastating impact on our bodies. These persistent toxic states always underlie chronic disease and stress-related disorders. They are just as destructive to our well-being as drinking and drugging. When we have an emotional addiction, we become hooked on a certain feeling, a certain way, a familiar way. If much of our childhood was lived in fear, then we might be addicted to the feelings frightening situations hold for us. We can become addicted to worry or the adrenaline rush that stress offers. We can become preoccupied with a person or situation and the ensuing feelings or the ensuing feelings our obsessions offer. Even though these emotions we are experiencing might not feel good to us, in actuality, they may be excruciatingly painful. There is still a strange part of us that finds comfort in them. Many times when we attract people or situations into our lives that will give us more than we are asking for. If we need to feel minimalized, ashamed, talked down to, or humiliated, we might find an abuser who will activate these feelings within us. This will allow us to feed our cravings. The more we give into our addictions, the more time we give it to ponder it. Hold it in our awareness and savor it. A tolerance to the deeper, darker place within ourselves for longer expanses of time just to get our fill. Some of our emotions can become so strong that they can seem like they have taken control of our lives. People with emotional addictions can look for some of the most insignificant events to trigger an emotional response to nurture this yearning. This allows them to experience a rush of negative emotions, a distorted kind of emotional high. These individuals typically thrive on things being slightly out of balance. Their lives may be filled with constant drama where they go from one crisis to another. Anything less leaves them feeling numb. The world would be a boring place without this ongoing rush. So how do you know if you have an emotional addiction? And you might have an emotional addiction if you're always sad, complaining about everything, or only see the negative side of a situation. You might have an emotional addiction if you're repeatedly telling the same tragic story. Ironically, many are negative emotions. They we can become so accustomed to this toxic state, even if it leaves us feeling uncomfortable, that it seems normal. In fact, to many, the negative feelings seem so familiar, they are like an old comfortable pair of slippers we put on at night. They can leave us feeling weirdly safe and at home with ourselves. So, not to make excuses for our emotions or our behaviors, but we all have a unique set of thoughts and emotions and emotional responses. Our programming and past experiences set the stage for how our body and mind reacts, which includes our addictions. When we experience a particular emotion, our body releases a flurry of powerful chemicals known as neuropeptides into the body. Each emotion is associated with a specific neuropeptide. These small chain amino acids enter the bloodstream and activate or inhibit the function of our cells. Peptides regulate every aspect of our body, including the production of chemicals such as adrenaline, dopamine, cortisol, and serotonin, which can affect our mood. They operate as a lock and key mechanism of cellular expression. Each of our cells are covered in a series of what are called receptor sites and act as the locking mechanism of the cell. When a specific neuropeptide, the key, comes into contact with the cell, it can bind into the receptor. Thus, when the key, the peptide, is inserted into the receptor cell, it can lock or unlock it, turning cellular function on or off depending on the peptide. Okay, so sorry for that complex biological explanation, but this is where this whole conversation gets very compelling and really the point of this whole conversation. If we have a propensity to experience a particular emotion, so happiness, sadness, negativity or whatever, our bodies automatically recalibrates itself to accommodate it. As our cells divide and new ones are created, the new cell has increased receptor sites on it to handle the predominant neuropeptides our body is producing. We literally transform our body to be able to deal with more negativity, unhealthy peptides, just by consistently, hang on a second, let me say that again. We literally transform our body to be able to deal with more negativity, unhealthy peptides, just by consistently feeling angry, anxious, worried, frustrated, or ill at ease. The increased number of receptor sites cause us to feel a specific emotion quicker and more intensely because we can process them faster. It is like when the grocery store opens up an additional checkout lane. We can quickly move through the process instead of standing in line and waiting. Interestingly, and this is where the hope and the whole resolution to this comes. As negative emotional receptor sites increase, the number of receptor sites that support feel-good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins decrease. This was a shocker to me, but we're teaching our body to be more inclined to negative thinking each time we have a troubling thought. Equally interesting, we can change our thoughts to happier and healthier ones. The number of receptor sites will diminish, of the harmful receptor sites will diminish, and the ones associated with feeling good will increase. With time and practice, we can literally transform ourselves into a whole new person inside and out. And so if you are someone who is traditionally trapped in negative thinking and you have an emotional response very quickly, and it's hard for you to find joy or happiness or contentment in your life, there is a biological piece to it. And the more you practice mindfulness or meditation or tapping and working on bringing yourself into the present moment and getting yourself into the flow and surrendering to the flow, that will start transforming it, because you are decreasing the number of receptor sites for those toxic emotions and increasing receptor site for positive ones. So I hope that really makes sense to you. I am really glad to bring that piece of information to you. So that came from this book, Dang, It Was Me All Along, which is available on my site, soulhealer.com, or Amazon, or where any books are sold. But if you get it from soulhealer.com, it comes autographed, which is priceless. Anyway, guys, I'm so excited to be here. It has been a very, 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 very long week, but we are going to get things started. And so here are the ground rules for the day. So if you would like to get a general reading, all you would need to do is to go into the chat and say, hey, Dr. Rita, your hair looks really wonderful. Can I get a reading? I would like a number, and you can pick a number between 1 and 3. And that's how many times I will shuffle the cards on your behalf until I draw a card. You can also go to, go up there. There you go. To soulhealer.com/line. So if they're live. And so if there's a lot of people in the line and you want to make sure you get your reading, you can jump the line, because you will be the next person that gets a reading from me. Okay. If you have a specific question, so maybe there's something going on in your life that you need some guidance and insight on, a health related issue, a relationship problem, an issue about work, doesn't really matter, just not dead people or predicting the future, soulhealer.com/live, click the Ask Dr. Rita button and leave your question there. And while you're there, if you want to leave me a little something, you're enjoying the show, or get a good reading, leave a little something, soulhealer.com/live. Okay. And also, wherever you're watching this show, and actually I should announce this now. So if you're watching this show in rerun form and you would like to join the live show, you can do that by going to my YouTube channel. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube, 7 p.m. Central Time. Click the live link, and that will allow you to enter the chat right away. Okay, so now